Out about this one. We're going to have a lot on health care later in this broadcast, but we'll get to more lies that they're throwing out there on the right wing. But, folks, let me tell you something. Progressives, we need to pay attention to this because this is the next big battle on the horizon. Now, as our country has been focused on a wacko bird senator from Texas, Ted Cruz, this major issue is sitting under the radar screen and should be out in front of every American for conversation. This is not about union labor. This is about American labor, American jobs across the board. This will lower the bar. I'm talking about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It is a free trade agreement being discussed right now in the shadows of Congress, not out in the open. If this partnership passes, it'll be the largest free trade agreement in the history of this country. It will be NAFTA on steroids. The consequences could be absolutely devastating for workers in this country and the environment. Outsourcing of good-paying American jobs will probably be the result. Somebody needs to explain to American workers that this is such a good deal. Why aren't they doing that? The partnership could consist of as many as 12 countries, including the United States, Mexico, Canada, Japan, Singapore, Vietnam, and Australia. These are new territories for emerging markets. Emerging markets means cheap labor. And make no mistake, this deal is dangerous for America. All negotiations have been held behind closed doors. Congress has been provided limited access to negotiation documents. The Obama administration has barred congressional members from discussing specific terms of this deal in public. Now, Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts sent the White House a letter calling for transparency on this agreement. Hear, hear. Meanwhile, President Obama, he has not been shy about his support for the trade partnership.
We know that we can do even more when it comes to exports, which is why I'm out there negotiating the Trans-Pacific Partnership and now a transatlantic trade partnership that will allow us to create a high standard, enforceable, meaningful trade agreement with essentially two-thirds of the world markets, which is going to be incredibly powerful for American companies who, up until this point, have often been locked out.
Now, it has to be pointed out that the president made those comments last week at the Business Roundtable with all the business executives. I mean, this is music to their ears. Now, we can get President Obama thinking correctly on this. He's done a lot of things right, but we can't let him stray on this one. If this deal goes through, it would be an absolute race to the bottom for workers. Corporations would be given free rein, and outsourcing could become another major problem, not that it's not right now. And a number of unions have come out against the deal, including the Communication Workers of America and the AFL-CIO. The AFL-CIO put together this web video highlighting the dangers of this partnership.
TPP could mean that I feel less secure.
TPP could mean that global corporations pit worker against worker in a race to the bottom.
TPP could make it harder to organize workers.
TPP could mean deforestation.
TPP could mean more overfishing.
TPP could mean we lose our voice.
Workers' rights, environmental protection, access to medicines. We urge you to ensure that the agreement will be balanced and centred on people's needs, not simply the needs of corporations.
Critics are calling this bill a corporate giveaway. Florida Congressman Alan Grayson said the agreement, listen to this, hands the sovereignty of our country over to corporate interests. And according to a leaked document, foreign corporations operating within the United States would be permitted to appeal key American legal rulings in an international tribunal? What? This is according to the Huffington Post. This tribunal would be granted power over American law, circumventing American law, giving up our sovereignty for free trade. There is no doubt free trade agreements have gone awry for this country and bad for American jobs. Since NAFTA was passed in 1994, it's estimated that 680,000 jobs have been lost or displaced because of this agreement. Here's what I want to focus on tonight with American workers out there. This is not about unions. It will affect unions, no doubt. But this is about American labor. This is about the bar being lowered, the standards. And let me ask you, redneck farmers and ranchers in the middle of the country who think that the Republicans hung the moon and they're the only option out there politically. Why in the hell should I buy your beef when I can get it from Vietnam for 10 cents on a dollar? Do I have your attention yet? This is a bad deal for America, and it needs to be vetted. There needs to be a debate. There needs to be open discussion. This is a highway to outsourcing, and it's going to be unfair to the American system across the board. You know what? Labor in Vietnam goes for 25 cents an hour. See you manufacturing. I think one of the reasons why other countries are attacking us when it comes to trade, and that's exactly what this is. They're going right to the bottom. They don't have the environmental standards that we have. They don't have the pollution standards that we have. Well, what they have done is they have seen what we have done as a country when it comes to the revitalization of the American automobile industry. They know we can do it. They know we can be players. And so they've got to come up with now another trade agreement that's going to involve emerging markets. Notice in the countries that I mentioned, there wasn't China. And there is a China component here, too. And there is fear that China is going to go cut a deal with every one of the countries that were listed in this Trans-Pacific Trade Agreement. It's been done in secret. 600 corporate consultants have been involved in this. But probably your representative or senator doesn't know very much about it. Why is President Obama doing this? The White House has to step out and explain exactly what this is going to do for the middle class. And I would challenge Democrats across America, don't be going home to your districts talking about how you're supporting the middle class, and the middle class is the survival to our economic engine in this country, if you turn and you vote for something like this. You need to explain, Democrats. You know the Republicans are going to be for the corporatists, but the Democrats and the progressive movement need to be on the same page on this one. If you vote for this, you will be gutting the middle class. And if I'm wrong on this, then you need to step out as a lawmaker and, number one, question the lack of transparency on this, and number two, explain to us, the American people, the wage earners. Explain to the American producer out on the land with ranchers and farmers how this is just going to be the catch-all for them. It won't be. That's why they're not talking about it. And it was very apropos for President Obama to step out in front of the Business Roundtable and say, you know, hey, I'm really working on this thing. That's exactly what they want to hear. There are corporate executives who are all about a race to the bottom line. We're going to become like them. They're not going to become like us. Our standard of living is going to be like them. It's not going to be like us. Whose side are you on? Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question: should America give up its sovereignty for a trade agreement? Text A for yes, text B for no to 67622. You can always go to our blog at